In the last exercise, we were looking at selection tools. We were able to set priorities based on what level inside the hierarchy it was. You'll notice in the assembly there's a few more options though. What we can do is we can select and isolate components based on certain information. So I could say select everything that is constrained to. So there's several things constrained to it, some screws, this plate. It's actually constrained to the plate. I could come in here and say, give me everything that would fit inside of this rectangle right here. So anything that's within 160 millimeters of this subassembly, it's going to give me a selection of it. So I could say anything within 3 feet of an electrical cabinet that I may be designing has to have shock or arc proofing to make it safe. So then I could select that area around that machine and I could give it special rubber coating or something like that. Or if we're dealing with acids, maybe anything within 48 inches of the acid bath, we have to coat in a special epoxy or something like that. So I could offset around that. Some of the other options are I could say, give me everything that is 10% of the machine size. Or if I wanted to do nuts and bolts on a pretty large machine, I could say at most 5% of the machine size. So it's going to go through and basically select everything that's a little bitty, nuts and bolts, screws and bushings and bearings and things like that. And what I could do then is I could isolate those down and add them to a new level of detail, or I could turn them off. Everything that's a little bitty, I'm not even going to be able to see it anyway, so let's turn it off. I could go through and select everything that is visible. So you say, well, what do you mean visible? So right now I can see all these components because they're all on the outside. But if I go out here, there's some things inside of here that I can't see. So I could say, give me all of the visible parts inside of this. Everything that's visible inside of this whole thing. Then I could invert it and basically say, give me everything that's hidden. I could say, give me all internal components or all external components. So if it's encased inside of something, I could see everything. If it's visible outside of this, show it to me. If it's, not visible, don't show it to me, so to speak. I can take and say, give me everything that's in the camera. So if I can see it, basically, select it. So right now I can see everything, so I can select it. But if I were to zoom in here, if it's 100% visible, show it to me. And I can kind of adjust how visible it is and how much I want to select it. So there's some nice isolation filters in here. You can say, give me everything that's on this side of this plane. Or I could flip it and say, give me everything that's on that side of that plane. So you could say, everything that's on this side of the conveyor gets this. Everything that's on that side of the conveyor gets that. So it's an ability to go through and isolate different parts of your machine. Maybe, certain parts on a certain size get a certain color. Everything on the outside gets painted the company color. Everything on the inside gets flat gray because it's cheaper or whatever. So you can go through and isolate these things and select and be able to control in an assembly environment what you can see and what you can select and how you can use it. You'll notice whenever I select it here, it does actually select it over here in the browser. So everything is related there based on this selection. Hit OK. So now I can select things. It's pretty simple, easy to use. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's that simple. Play with it, see what you can do with it, have some fun with it.